We're set to go here in Daytona. Mike Bliss, Robert Presley will bring them down to the green flag. Late June, early July, we start in daylight, we end in darkness. The sparks will fly, the full moon will be up there, and oh wow.
Yeah, about the first 10 laps or so of this race is the most critical. I mean, as far as nail biting is concerned, you got to try to stay in there. You don't want to lose any position, any more positions than you have to. Stay up the front. That's where it's the safest.
Saw Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there, the 25 car, qualified in 11th position. He will have to go to the rear of the field because of an engine change.
Threatening weather to the south. There's been a storm system building around the Orlando area, and it's just touched the Speedway area briefly, but these storms here in Florida, it can be pouring across the street and be dry over here, and we actually had that situation about an hour ago.
And you heard Kurt Busch talk about these guys. They had 2 practice sessions yesterday before qualifying. Then NASCAR impounded the cars after qualifying. The only work they could do on these cars was adjust the tape on the front end, adjust wedge, track bar air pressure. All of their practice yesterday was in the heat of the day. Cooler air temperatures, cooler track temperatures. It'll really make the speeds of these cars go up.
But remember one thing, Larry, they did have a race here last night on the road course, and those cars traditionally will make the racetrack slicker.
And let's check with Kurt Busch.
Well, down pit side, it seemed like we had a couple radio issues early on with Casey Atwood, the 14 car. Seems as if he can't hear his crew chief on the back straightaway side, so he can only communicate when he's on the front straightaway. Also, I'd heard that Kenny Wallace has a radio issue as well. Whether it's the humidity in the air or just the mid-race season at the time, it's hard on radios right now.
And you know, the irony of that is Kurt's brother Kyle, I think back at Dover, Delaware, about a month ago, had radio issues after we had the little bit of rain delay from Saturday to Monday.
Tonight, 250 miles. That's just 100 laps. This is going to go by quickly.
See right there, that pit window, 45 to 50 laps. I think that's something we're going to have to keep a close watch on. As I mentioned, a 100-lap race. Some teams thinking they could go 50 laps, but remember, their qualifying was 3 laps. NASCAR would not let them top the fuel tanks off after qualifying, so that's 3 less laps of fuel that's in that fuel tank.
All right, pace car dips in. We're about 1,000 feet away from getting this show on the road.
DW, last time NASCAR Busch Series racing on FX. Reach up there, pull them belts tight one more time.
Boogity, 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 boys! Let's go racing!
Like right now, that inside line that our pole sitter Mike Bliss is bringing along, it seems to be doing the moving right now.
Yeah, Robert Presley on the outside, back about 5th overall, leading the outside line.
Yeah, Presley did not get off to a very good start, and he's losing positions left and right.
Remember, these cars qualified and then were parked. No final practice, no adjustments after qualifying.
Looks like Presley's coming back up to speed now.
He's getting a pretty good push from Martin Truex Jr. in that 8 car on the outside.
This is when, trust me, you just got to hold your breath right now for about 7 or 8 laps till things sort out a little bit.
We see him definitely already running 3 wide. This racetrack is plenty wide enough for that, but the thing about it, these cars start bouncing around, moving around. That's when someone gets into someone, and in a pack like this, has all the makings of a big one.
Yeah, that 3 wide's only half a second behind the leader, but is back for 15th position.
Yeah, a lot of places, you know, you run a couple laps, kind of settle in. Here you run a couple of laps, and it's just getting exciting.
Well, Jamie, there's that car you would have driven tonight. Moving up. Whoa.
Moving up, moving over, moving in.
Moving on.
Moving out.
Moving.
Baby is moving.
Ah, can you tell it's our last night?
Yeah.
What's going through your mind at this point?
Well, Casey, you know, I didn't want to run this race, and Casey came over to me after the first practice and said that the car was incredible. And I talked to some of the other guys, and they said that he was definitely one of the best cars. So I'm a little bit disappointed right now that I'm not in there, but he's trying to make it 3 wide, and I was a little bit curious of how that was going to work out, because in Cup Happy Hour, I didn't see a lot of guys try that, and when they did, they got right back in line. So I predict that once the tires get about 5 or 6 laps on, those guys are going to be 2 wide, and if somebody makes it 3 wide, that it won't last very long.
Jamie, with all the safety enhancements, the bigger headrests, how good is your peripheral vision in these cars, really?
Yeah, you know, I don't even remember racing without having big headrests anymore. And now that they added the mirror on the left side, and the way that the rear view mirrors are, I really feel like I can see out of my car well. I mean, as good as I could, even if I didn't have a headrest. I think when those very first came out that there were some issues with it, but the way the headrests are now, I mean, I think you can see really good.
So, Jamie, it's DW. You wouldn't think about racing without a side view mirror, right?
You know, no, there's no way. And I tell you, that's the same thing, kind of like losing your radio. When your spotter says he's looking, you know, like, how far up along he is. And I think that a lot of guys use the mirrors for block, and I've done that. But more than anything, I use it just so that I don't drive over somebody if my spotter doesn't tell me he's there.
Boy, back in there, the 00 just got his nose clipped, and he may have gotten in the wall.
Well, he did coming off turn 2, Darrell. He was 3 wide and almost scraped and almost got it again. For the lead, Mike Bliss pounds back on the outside against Harvick.
00 has definitely been in the wall, Mike. You see the whole right side of it caved in.
Let's show you what happened to Leffler.
Somebody got in it and got into him here. Let's see who it was. It would appear to me to be, they're making some good time up through here. And yeah, Robert Presley just ran him out of room.
Ran out of racetrack.
Yeah. Robert, probably that's sort of a blocking move, unfortunately.
DW, I was talking to Jamie McMurray, and he said one thing you got to kind of watch out for is we've got 30 inches more of the safer barrier up there, and a lot of guys are struggling with that. When you try to move up that little bit, you lost 30 inches of that racetrack, especially where he got in the wall at.
3 wide for 5th across the line. Mike Wallace on the bottom, Robbie Gordon in the middle, and the one of Casey Mears on the outside.
And just believe me when I tell you, being in the middle is a miserable place to be. That car is buffing it around. He tries to hold it low. He tries to jump up high. Things all over the place.
I've been watching Robbie Gordon at 55.
Clear all around. 3 wide behind you.
Some help, but he just can't get it in the middle.
Nope. David Stremme moved right past that whole
Got a good
pack.
car. Your car's good. Clear all around.
And now here comes Gordon back after him on the outside. It's Kyle Busch on the bottom.
Back to that 30 inches of safer barrier. We hear that every time we put them up. You know, we heard it at Darlington. We've heard that a lot. But I asked Michael about that, my brother, and he said, look, you just run up to the wall, wherever it is, wherever it stops.
You don't have a tape measure in the car with you.
No, he said, you know, it's over there, and you know it, and you just run up to it.
Right with Kenny Wallace. Leffler on the inside, did not pit, stays out. Mike Bliss, Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Harvick is faded to 6th now. There's his orange car mid-screen. Chevrolets lead the Ford of Mike Wallace to the green. It's Waltrip, Bliss, Truex, and Earnhardt.
See, that Michael tells me all the time, Kurt, I'm old school, so maybe that's old school. I don't know.
Hornaday on the bottom, the restart king.
Yes, sir, and he was coming in a hurry and had a little bit of help from behind just for a second there. Now, interesting strategy with Michael Waltrip in the 99. He was leading the race, but that team, Jerry Baxter, they elected to change just 2 right side tires, with everyone else changing 4 for the most part.
Ron Hornaday, the deuce. He'll get you a spot on those restarts. Matt?
Under the caution, Dale Jr. and Martin Truex talked about trying to make a move on the 20 of Bliss. He said, let's make our move when we come off turn 2. Let's go to the outside and get back in line behind the 99.
Made his move.
I don't think that 8 car, though, is wanting anybody around it. I don't think he wants anybody stuffed up behind him, because he looks like he's just hanging on to that thing barely.
But you heard Jamie talking a while ago. We were talking, Jamie, that Martin Truex's car just don't look like it's driving very good whatsoever.
No, and you know, that's the thing that, I mean, Dale Jr. and Michael Waltrip are really good drafters, but their cars always seem to handle well here. And I heard Jr. say that his cup car was really loose in our happy hour, and almost everybody I talked to was tight. So those guys have something figured out these places to get their cars freed up and make them really fast.
I tell you, team, I'm impressed with Mike Wallace in this 4-car. If there's a team in the garage area that needs a good run, I think they only have one top 10 finish this year. I mean, he is up there bidding for the lead with this group.
And there he is, number 4 on that hit parade of biggest movers.
And ran well, as I mentioned a while ago, ran very good here in February with this very car.
Mike Bliss, the pole sitter, right behind Mike Wallace, looking lower. There is no lower to go. Michael Waltrip is almost Velcroed down to that yellow line, Darrell.
That's exactly where I'd stay, too, buddy. If you want around me, you go on the outside.
You see right there, Martin Truex Jr. in the 8-car, he could not keep his car down and get a lot of help from Robbie Gordon. Now, on the back straightaway, it comes together. That outside line seems to be moving now. They're even getting help from David Strimming on the 32 car back there.
Now, see, there's Junior. He jumped up the outside to try to take advantage of Robbie Gordon. Let's see who comes out on top here.
Darrell, it's almost like Robbie Gordon. He may see that Martin Truex is very loose, and he won't get that close to him, or either he can't get that close to him.
I think it's sometimes a car will not suck up to the car in front of you, particularly with that fin on top of it. Sometimes your car, it takes the air away from your air box, and the engine just won't pull up.
Now, Mike Wallace is losing that draft just a little bit, and he's losing the tape off his grill. It's sitting there flapping in the breeze. That can't be helping.
Oh, no.
It really hurts the drag of the car. Lets more air go into the radiator.
Let's go to Mike Wallace's pit. Dick Bergman.
With his crew chief, Tony Lambert. Are you as surprised as we are to see this car running as well as it is?
No, this car, we led with it in Talladega. I think we're trying to get up here where we can get the lead. I mean, we'd like to lead this thing and say we led here. Hopefully we can go to the end and win. But you know how this place is. See, it's like then we lost 2 spots. Geico Ford is doing real well.
You got some tape flopping around. You got tape flopping around on the nose of the car. How does that affect it?
Yeah, I can't see it from here. I have to get binoculars and look. But if it's the bottom, it won't hurt us that bad. If it's the top, it might hurt just a little bit.
Okay, good luck today.
Well, it's the top. It's the upper grill. That's where that tape's moving around.
And what makes Michael and Dale Jr. work so good together is that Dale Jr. knows exactly when to bump draft. You can't do that just any old place around this racetrack. And Junior knows when to give Michael that little shot to push him ahead without wrecking him.
Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 81 car, he moves to the high side, getting help from the car that he owns, Martin Truex, in the 8. He's going to lead this lap. And these fans, every one of them are standing on their feet.
And it's amazing, isn't it, Larry? Michael's sitting there comfortably leading the race. Yep. And now look at him.
Comfortably third.
He's in a hornet's nest.
And about to be 4th. Jamie McMurray's got to leave us. I want to thank you for joining us and just wonder if there's anything you've seen in these first 34 laps that you've made a specific mental note of to remember tomorrow night when we go 400 miles here.
Well, I just am shocked at how loose all of the cars are. You know, like I say, we fought tight the whole happy hour, and it looks like everyone's fighting loose. I don't know if that's the aero package or just the racetrack freeing up. So be curious to go back and talk to Donnie and see what his thoughts are on that.
And Jamie, from the Super 8 Hollywood Hotel, thanks for coming out and watching with us. So tomorrow, handicap the field for us a little bit. We see what Junior and Michael are doing here.
Yeah, I mean, you know that Junior and Michael are going to be the 2 cars to beat. I mean, without a doubt. You look at the history of DEI here, and every single time those guys seem to be fast. So just have to hope that, you know, in the 500, the field really spread out. It wasn't like Talladega where everyone was bunched up. So a good handling race car is going to be just critical tomorrow. So hopefully we can get the Havilland Dodge to handle the way we need it to.
And it seems to me right now, guys, watching these after this last pit stop, some of these guys have gotten definitely better. Pack is definitely back together and really going 3 wide here as Kyle Busch goes around Mike Wallace. So things are getting pretty wild. But thanks a lot for coming by.
Starting 32nd tomorrow. Good luck working your way through the pack, all right?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Always fun to have you with us. And actually, Jeff Hammond, who do you think did better? Kurt Busch, the reporter, or Kyle Busch, the driver, so far tonight?
I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
All right, I'll go with Jamie McMurray from the Hollywood Hotel. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Chris. You saw Mike Wallace backing up a bit. He's now slid back out of that lead pack, having just had a little bit of difficulty hanging with.
Yeah,
he's back to 17th now.
A couple of things. I still believe that race he had here last night, the road course race, has slickened the racetrack up some. They throw down a lot of oil and a lot of rubber on the racetrack that wasn't there yesterday. So I think that's part of the problem, and I think that's why the cars are a little looser.
But now just remember, Kevin Harvick in that 21 car, we saw him just a second ago. He's up to 19th, even gained some more position this lap. He restarted this race after that last caution back at about 35th after they made repairs to that right front fender. And I think in his pits, they're still making pieces, anticipating that the car is still not completely right.
Well, it's pretty good. I mean, it's coming back to
I don't
the
know
front.
if I do many repairs.
Might be a problem for Mike Bliss, who started up front.
Yeah, he's back. Something's wrong with his car.
Steve.
Mike, I was just listening to Mike Bliss, and he said that he is wicked loose. Remember, before the pit stop, he said that he was just a little bit tight. Now, wicked loose.
Wow, wicked loose on the top and bottom.
Wow.
And that's how sensitive these cars are with this aero package.
Tonight, 5 different leaders. Michael Waltrip passing the pole sitter, Mike Bliss, who had led 22 laps, and some problems, Jeff Hammond, on this speedway when Stacy Compton met up with the ball.
Yeah, he loses the right front tire. It's hard in that safer barrier. Ended the night for Stacy Compton, but thank goodness for the safer barriers. And you see the 59 car taking her to the garage.
Kevin Harvick having some problems, had to go into the pits.
Yeah, he got together, I believe, with Greg Biffle on the racetrack, but the team decided to come in and make repairs to the front of that 21 car, and he's back up there dicing for the lead.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 81 car, dominating at Daytona, leading for the second time. And the fans that are here in anticipation of what they might see tomorrow night on Fox up and hollering, and then moments ago bringing out a caution. Jimmy Kitchens with some problems, although he was okay after this. Smoking, spinning. Yeah, that's Kitchens, as in if you can't stand the heat, get out of the. And he is all right, surviving from that, bringing out the caution.
Martin Truex Jr. will be our leader on the restart. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ron Hornaday, David Stremme, Ashton Lewis up into the top 5. Robbie Gordon, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, Kenny Wallace.
You know what? We're almost halfway. It's Friday night. Under the lights, let's crank it up.
How tight is this pack? Casey Mears is just 1 second from the leader. He is 13th place.
See Robbie Gordon in the 55 car trying to get a little bit of help from Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 25 car, trying to get up there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 81 shuts the door over him off turn 4.
Boy, bump drafting is something I just am not a big fan of. I know it helps to push a guy ahead, and sometimes he gets out, but I just don't. I'm not a big fan of bump drafting. How about you, Kurt?
Tip for it, Pam. I saw the way that the draft is going on out there, and we're behind the scenes checking everything out with all the crews down here, and it's just kind of normal business. The way that you have to race at a restrictor plate race is to help the guy in front of you, make sure that you don't leave a wingman behind that's trying to help you out. But the main thing is just to continue in your lane and make sure that you keep track of your tires so that you know what to change on the car.
But Kurt, bump drafting, is that helping or can it be hurting?
It really it can go either way, but you want to be on the bottom side of the racetrack to keep your car in a safer position, and the middle is not all that great sometimes. And when you're on the top side, you're more on the offensive side trying to gain position.
Robbie Gordon wants the lead on the outside the hard way.
I mean, this is what I love about this package. We're halfway lap 50, and look at this pack of cars, 2 by 2 by 2, all the way back to about 25th.
Yeah, we had this on the Cup cars in 2001, and that was the most exciting Daytona 500 I think I'd ever seen. We had more lead changes in that race than we'd had in the 10 previous races put together.
Truex, who had an ill-handling car prior to the first pit stop, now appears able to hold everybody off.
Watching Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 25 and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 81, all the way down the backstretch, they kept going at each other back and forth.
I think what Martin figured out, Mike, is that out front his car felt really, really good. Because once he got out front, he's been able to ride there pretty comfortably.
Kevin Harvick is the man in the middle, right in the middle of that pack, in the middle lane. Now he's got a little help from Casey Mears there. That's a thick middle in that bunch.
Yeah, I mean, just remember, less than 25 laps ago, he was on pit road getting repairs to that race car, restarted back about 35th, and here he's up there in the lead pack.
And the high line is really good off turn 2. Guys get a really big shot off the turn
like,
2 over there.
Speaking of shot like that.
That's a shot.
Like I say, that's real effective until it doesn't work. And the guy in front better know that that's coming. He better kind of anticipate it anyway.
Right now, Kevin Harvick in the 21, a lot like his teammate Robbie Gordon in the 55, has been a lot of the race stuck in the middle with not a lot of help from behind. What do you call it, DW? The sucker hole.
Yeah, the sucker hole, and we're starting to see the eye of the storm develop too.
And not the storm in Orlando.
DW, look at that blue car behind Kevin Harvick. That's your old buddy Jeff Spraker in that 56 car. He started dead last on this field.
And wasn't in the race. But when the 46 got his time disallowed, that puts Spraker in the race.
A big pileup in turn 2, and it happened well off the lead in about the third pack of cars. As they ran 3 wide and got closer and closer, something finally gave. Casey Atwood's in it, Justin Labonte's in it, up against the wall. That looks like Justin Ashburn. Ashton Lewis was there. Gus Wasson and the 79 of Keith Burt, who had just gotten the free pass on the last caution. And Johnny Sauter as well.
You know, the interesting thing about that was some of the cars actually wrecked after the wreck already had happened. Here comes some cars that didn't get slowed down quick enough. See if we can see what happened back in here. I think I see a blue car going to hit a green one. Yep.
Oh, that's Fidoa going sideways.
Yeah.
I believe that was Jeff Spraker in the 56. We just had talked about him, gets into the back of him. DW, this is the trouble spot of this racetrack off turn 2. Always is.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Fidoa was lucky to get away because the big pileups out in the middle of the racetrack.
The whole thing about it is, there, you think back to Casey Kane in Cup practice. There's a big dip right down there in the middle of 1 and 2. And when you hit that dip, it upsets the car, and you never quite catch up with it. And sometimes you just get out of control off 2.
Not sure who that is, but he manages to drive right through it all without getting hit. All right, watch the bright green car of Fidoa right there on the right of your screen.
Here comes Spraker. Yeah, that's Spraker underneath of him, and he just pushes up into him. There's Ashton Lewis and the rest of the crowd.
Fidoa drives away.
Lucky man.
But when Ashton Lewis drove to the right to miss it, actually he got into it. Things stacked up behind him, and you see they're still wrecking back there.
And DW, we see that a lot. The car wants to move up the racetrack right there.
Yeah, the driver just, it sucks the air off the nose, and the front of the car takes off, and you can't do anything about it except either hit the wall or the guy beside you. It's a really tough spot right on this racetrack.
There's the rest of it unfolding.
That's why a lot of guys like to run off that corner real high. So you get up high there, you get a little bit better angle. Get down low, it just seems like the car wants to pick up a great big push. And it takes off, and when it does, you can't do anything about it.
Riding with Kenny Wallace right here. This is what it looked like out of his rear bumper back at this wreck.
Well, let's look at it from up above and see how all this unfolds. There's the green car left of your screen. There's the initial contact. Now watch that white car go to the outside, and that's where the log jam is, right there.
Larry, there's a couple of, as you come off turn 2 over, there's a couple of dips, and the front of the car starts bouncing, and into the car on the outside it goes.
The car I wondered about that drove through the grass and drove away was Derek Cope. Casey Atwood was up against the wall in that. Kurt?
Well, we just watched Casey Atwood's crew go to work on the car, and it seems like, I don't know if he beat him off pit road or not, but they had severe left side damage, and they did not beat the pace car down pit road. And so what they've got to do is come back in and work on the car. But what led to that is that they came in and topped off, and thinking that they can make it the rest of the way on fuel, that put them in a bad position on the racetrack.
You're exactly right, Kurt. Hit Mike Bliss, Casey Atwood, and Jason Leffler. But the biggest thing I see, Kurt, he did not beat the stop sign, but that lip on that spoiler has come loose, and NASCAR will not let him run without that 90-degree lip on that spoiler that's mandatory.
You're exactly right, Larry Mack. They need to get some rivets put together and put it back on the car, but maybe take a hammer to it so it's not quite at the 70-degree rule.
Michael's got a problem, guys.
Michael Waltrip off the pace.
It may, after what we saw in the backstretch, we're going to see it here. It may be a flat tire, possibly, DW.
See what's wrong with him here.
Right side of your screen.
They just squeezed the one car, Casey Mears, in the inside into the outside to David Strimmin in 32. There you see Michael Waltrip in the 99 all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, he got bumped by Kevin LePage there, but that was kind of square in the back, not enough to do any damage.
It might have been a left rear. Michael may have just thought it was a flat tire because of the contact.
Now, Strimmy, listen here. A little scrape.
Definitely got into it, though.
You know, I think Michael might have thought that he had a left rear going down.
Dick?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Michael did think he had a flat tire, but he's just heard from his spotter that it looks like the tire is up. So there's a moment of indecision here as to what to do about car 99, Michael Waltrip.
Meanwhile, on the left of your screen, it took Dale Earnhardt Jr. from the restart exactly 5 laps to retake the lead. Harvick is there, and Leffler is right up there with Harvick. 2 slightly damaged cars in the hunt, and Robbie Gordon pounding along on the bottom in second.
I think once that 8 car got out front with those 4 fresh tires, he's only going to get stronger.
The third place point man is behind the wall. Here's Kurt.
I was down here enjoying myself during this part of the race with a Coke C2 because it's 30 laps to go, but we have David Green behind the wall. David, you have an electrical issue and the car just shut off. Exactly what do you think the problem is?
Yeah, the last restart, Kurt, the thing missed and carried on, and then it finally just shut off. So we have no power here at all. So we thought it's a battery, but the battery wasn't a problem. I don't know if it's on-off switch here or what, but sometimes when it rains, it pours. You know how that deal goes. So
bummer break for David Green, running third in points, but they will bounce back.
You know, guys, you talked about the fresh tires on Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 81. Robbie Gordon in that 55, he pitted as well with Dale Earnhardt Jr. And it's not that new tires make you faster. You just can maneuver and drive the race car.
Well, you pick up that aero push here that after about 15 or 20 laps. So they're going to be 15 or 20 laps into the run further than these other guys that didn't get tires. Tires don't wear out. They just give up. They just start sliding, lose grip.
2 cars trying to break away. Welcome back to Daytona. Slow car entering the pits. Dodgeball. As it were, Kenny Wallace limps onto pit road. Really, he's ripped up the right side of that car earlier. David Stremme right in front of traffic.
Yeah, Larry Hollenbach just about knocked Kenny Wallace into the pits as Kenny tried to get down.
Kim Crosby back on track after being involved in the lap 55 caution that took 11 cars off track.
But while all that was happening, look, you don't see no 81 car up there. Robbie Gordon in 55. His teammate, Kevin Harvick, pushed him past 81, and 81 is all the way back to 6, but he's getting a little bit of help now from that 8 car, Martin Truex Jr.
I think that's what he kind of fell back there. He said, let me help you get back up here, my friend.
So now teammates working together 6th and 7th. Teammates working together 1-2. Robbie Gordon and Kevin Harvick, who may not be the best of friends, but they are teammates at Richard Childress Racing. Robbie Gordon owns his own Busch car, but Childress provides the power. And Harvick is in a Childress piece. Show you what happened to Crosby here. Ooh. And there's Kenny Wallace.
That's what happened to Kenny Wallace.
The right side wiped off.
The wall.
Now, when Kenny tries to get the pit lane down here.
Ooh, that's pretty hard lick.
Pretty good lick.
Now, earlier, what happened to David Stremme? The 8 gets into the 1, which gets into Stremme. And right there created something that rubbed on that right rear tire and took Stremme out of contention. That was the earlier damage to Kenny Wallace. Happens right in front of Robert Presley. Stremme wrestles that car down as the tire comes apart coming off the corner.
But meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 81 car, he's starting to work his way back to the front. He has moved to the high side, getting a push not from his teammate, but from Casey Mears. In that 1 car, he's back up to 3rd as we've got 16 laps to go this time.
To the leader's pit, Dick Bergman.
Let's rewind to Talladega in the spring. Robbie Gordon driving this same car led 46 laps, more than anybody else in that race. But late in the race, he left the bottom open and did not wind up winning. Instead, he wound up finishing 2nd. As soon as Gordon took the lead tonight, Bob Temple, his crew chief, got on the radio and told him all he had to do was keep the car on the yellow line going through the corners, and the race was his. Matt?
Dick, an update on Martin Truex. He's telling his crew chief, Bono Manion, I just cannot run on the bottom. I get way too loose. He's tried to go to the high side. He's on the outside of Ron Hornaday right now. He had a big push going by Jason Leffler, just trying to be patient with 16 to go to work his way back to the front.
Yeah, Matty, the only way that 8 car is happy was when it was out front. Back in traffic, it's just a handful.
And just remember, he's got as older tires as anyone out there in this group because he stayed out the last 2 times.
Yeah, but company's coming here on the outside. Junior goes way up the hill.
May have been a little bit higher than he meant to, but he gets a heck of a run off of 2 over there.
Without any help whatsoever, he pulls up beside Kevin Harvick in the 21. Robbie Gordon, I think he's going to do what he was told to do. He's going to hug the bottom of that racetrack. Harvick continues to fight back.
The yellow line is your best friend. Trust me.
I'm just impressed with this run by Mike Wallace. Fred Biaggi, the car owner, you won't meet a nicer guy. They wasn't even going to run Milwaukee last week, had 11th place finish, up here battling in the top 5. Great run for this crew.
Ooh, he just sliced down across the nose of Hornaday, though.
He did.
That's Wallace in the 4. Here comes Truex. And now it's 11 cars under a blanket. They all but run over the pace car, and here comes Gordon.
Get ready.
Dale Jr.'s laying back just a little bit. He's trying to anticipate the start, but I think it actually, it's going to pay off for him. He's going to get a run on these 2 guys.
9 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, his teammate, took right on that rear bumper. A little bump draft on this restart.
But here comes Junior. He got back. He got a good little run on those guys.
Now he's up there in that windup lane. Harvick, is he going to be patient or is he going to go?
They just need to stay right there, and they open up the bottom. Harvick did, and 8's going to stick it. 81's going to stick it in there.
Whoa!
Uh-oh, Robbie Gordon's got a problem.
Yes, he does.
Well, that's a shame.
Clear, that was awesome.
What a tough break for Gordon.
Oh,
3 wide. It's Leffler again, rim riding the high side.
You know what, guys? Robbie Gordon may be out of fuel. He possibly may be out of fuel. Dick Berggren.
Tire down is what he said. Tire down, Larry.
That's a shame.
Mike Wallace getting help from Hornaday. Goes for the lead with that Ford.
And that is a guy that he wants to win. He'll do whatever it takes to get up there and win. He's on the high side. Hornaday, get up there with him, buddy.
I got a pretty good idea Hornaday will stay hooked back at 81.
Packed tight.
Clear, 2 wide behind you.
Hornaday jumped out there and helped that Ford right now. That wouldn't be good politics.
And I didn't mean to come across I'm pulling for Mike Wallace, but I pull for an underdog. And right now, Mike Wallace is an underdog.
Right now, the underdog is anybody but that 81. Dale Jr. going for 4 in a row.
I think he's got pretty much the situation he would like to have now. Got Hornaday right there.
You heard him say 7 to go.
Of course, Harvick and Hornaday, you know, they might decide to do something here, but they're going to have to be mighty good to get around Dale Jr.
It's going to take 2 cars to beat that one white one.
And they just can't get, you know, see how spread out they are. They're going to have to get really tight to do that.
Steve Burns.
And Mike, remember the top of the broadcast, we said Ron Hornaday has finished in the top 10 in 4 straight restrictor plate races. He felt like he could have gotten a win at several of them, but he didn't have any help. He's got it tonight in the form of Kevin Harvick. Let's see if he can take a shot at Junior.
And he just has momentum on his side. 3 consecutive top 5 finishes last 3 races.
And you know what? Harvick would help Hornaday win this race. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would try to knock him around Junior if he could. Bump draft him around Junior if he could.
6 laps to go. 6-car breakaway at the front. Here's Matt.
Mike, Bono, Mannion, and the Chance 2 guys prepare the cars running 1st and 6th. Bono, you got one guy leading, but can Truex get up there and make it another 1-2 finish?
Well, we've had a little different pit strategy than Dale Jr. We didn't take tires, and we thought just staying up front and out of that backpack would be the best for us where we are in the points. But I wish we would have took some tires now. But I think Dale Jr., he's pretty strong. Martin's been real strong too. We're just a little stuck in the back there, but Dale Jr. looks good. Hopefully, we'd rather see Martin win though.
Truex currently in the 6th position. Now, Mike, the guy who's in the 5th spot, the 4-car, Joey Meyer, Martin Spotter, had a funny comment. He says, the 4 helps, but then it's like a hair clog in a drain. He stops up, and he stops our momentum.
Well, that 6-car breakaway became 3-3-3, and now it is 6-5.
I'm going to tell you a guy that has made a move, Michael Waltrip, in his 99 car. He's up to 8th position. It took him about 4 laps of those fresh tires. We're riding here with him right now, and he's bringing Casey Kane with him.
And he's closing. I mean, he is closing in a hurry. He can run wide open because of the fresh tires.
He's up alongside of Truex, makes the pass. Waltrip to 6th, and with him are coming Leffler in the 00 and Biffle in the 60. All with new tires.
Boy, I tell you, tires are a big factor here this weekend, Larry. More than I think I've ever seen before.
And I don't think he's finished yet. He's got the 00 with him as we got 4 laps to go. This time, he's up to the 6th position.
All 3 of them are lined up on the outside. Add Biffle to that group. Here they come, the 99, the 00, and the 60. They've got time. They've got 4 laps to go. Waltrip restarted 25th, and here he is at 6th
with tires.
And remember, Greg Biffle was another one of those cars that got 4 tires.
And now with friends. Oh, he is coming in a hurry and got some pushers with him.
If they get to the front, this is going to get really interesting.
Just look how much difference tires make. Just go around them on the outside. Kind of got that Dale Jr. look. Squeezes through right here.
And look at the help he's got, though. Jason Leffler, he was in trouble when this race started. He's pushing Michael Waltrip up here. 3 to go this lap.
5 Biffle behind me. I'd be pushing too.
Got to clear
that car's fast.
Clear Hornaday here, which they did. Get a run on Dale Jr. off of turn 2 over here. Mikey's going to the lead.
Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, Mikey.
I don't think Leffler and Biffle, though, are done with him, Darrell.
I don't either. And Dale Jr. says, hey, where'd you come from?
Teammates tomorrow night, but not this evening.
And Jason Leffler, he is staying glued to that rear bumper.
Look at the hood. Look at the hood on that one car.
Clear,
got
clear.
it bowed up. Now what does Michael do?
Well, he's in clean air. The problem is there's still 2.5 laps to go.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Leffler pushed him up there. You hate to leave Leffler out to dry.
Hey, buddy, let's hang on with this thing now.
That's
2 to go right here.
down there.
2 to go this time.
Now Biffle is right to the back of Leffler, and here they come.
Boy, Michael's loving this. He's out front. They're running side by side behind him.
It's not over.
Now Jason Leffler, the 0. He's battling for the lead, not with a lot of help behind him. And look at Robert Presley on the 47 on the high side.
Where did he come from?
He has been coming.
That car had 2 wheels in the grass the last time we saw it.
Look at this wad here.
Holy smoly. Hang on to her, Mikey.
Got a good push coming in your line.
I would like to tell you help's coming, but it ain't.
I mean, look at them, 2 by 2 by 3. We'll be coming to the white flag this time.
Come on, buddy. I don't know about this.
14 cars, and any one of them could win it.
It's a dead heat with 1 to go. Michael Waltrip on the inside, Jason Leffler on the outside. White flag.
White flag, man. White flag. Good push coming right here.
I tell you.
Uh-oh.
What? What do you see that I don't see?
Turn 3 is what I see. They're in turn 2 right now.
Boy, this is going to get... This has got...
Clear, clear, clear. Coming back, coming back.
What I see is 16.
He's funny. Oh, man. Leffler got into the back of Mikey and Spunny.
All right, no caution yet. No caution.
Oh, man.
Leaders in 3.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He goes to the high side. Leffler's trying to block him. Look at Mike Wallace in the 4 on the bottom.
Leffler went up, and Wallace is going to win it, or is he?
Leffler
it's not over with yet.
Leffler put Junior in the wall.
Checkered flags in the air. No caution.
Mike Wallace.
Can you believe that? Oh. Now the caution is out. Which basically means any cars that had not crossed the start-finish line, they are frozen.
Look at that fist pump.
Right
Jason Leffler battled everybody. Mike Wallace drove through the middle of it to score what is likely the biggest win of his life.
I would say so.
Darrell, it looked like Leffler was trying to do a cross under on Michael, got right to his back bumper, tried to swerve off him, and got him.
Yeah, he did. And then, of course, he got down here to turn 3, and Junior tries him on the outside, and he swerves into him. So he was doing everything he could to keep people behind him.
And Mike Wallace becomes only the 3rd. We got some unhappy people here in these pits, though.
And that is not surprising.
Not at all. But what I was going to say, Mike Wallace becomes only the 3rd non-Nextel Cup regular to win here at Daytona in the Busch Series since 1982.
Well, I tell you, Michael Curtis, he came from all the way 25th to the lead, leading on the last lap. Thought he had it.
But look at Mike Wallace celebrating inside that car. I'll bet he can't believe how the track just opened up in front of him.
I bet the little guy on the hood is enjoying this ride tonight. Here's
Watch
Michael.
99.
Comes off turn 2 there. He's got enough room. I hear his spotter tell him clear up. He goes up in front of Leffler. And Michael just was not straight enough when Leffler got into him. If he'd been a little further down the straightaway, I think he'd have been all right. But just enough to, Michael was still turning enough that it turned his car around.
And that slowed Leffler enough to give Junior a run on Leffler on the outside.
Then he gets down here and...
Yep.
I'm just glad that thing didn't turn over.
You get in that grass, that's the big recipe about it.
Safer barrier. Michael's wife, Buffy. The sport turns that quickly. Now there's Leffler. Junior's got to run because of Leffler's bump with Michael.
And Leffler's on the bottom, and I mean, he just goes up the hill until he runs Dale Jr. into the race, into the wall.
And at that point, Darrell, he wasn't going to win it. But Mike Wallace had the whole bottom lane opened up for him and went from 5th to 1st on the last lap.
Both those cars hit the wall hard. There you see Mike Wallace in the 4 go all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Junior came across the line 17th.
I mean, this is so huge for this race team. This race team has raced a lot of races without a sponsorship on that car.
Back in 2001, Mike Wallace won the inaugural Truck Series race here at Daytona. And it's just going to be the start of a huge celebration for the entire Wallace family. Wow. 1 lap to go. You're in 5th, Mike. Take us on that winning passes to the front.
You know, Matt, I'm so happy right now. I'm not sure I can even tell you how. All I know, Fred Biaggi. I need to compose myself here a second because this is, you know, this has been a long time coming.
1994 at IRP.
It's Daytona. I've won here in the past. The first I need the winning pass was just kept digging. Let me tell you what. Tony Stewart and I had a conversation today. This guy's a hell of a good guy. Heck of a good guy, excuse me.
What'd you tell him?
He just...
Trust me, this guy gave me probably some of the best advice I've ever got in my life. We've had a pretty tough week here, but I'm telling you, good things happen to good people.
Okay, enough of him. I want to talk
about.
That's
exactly right. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, man. Fred Biaggi, Pat Biaggi, my car owners, my wife Carla, Lindsay, Chrissy. The last few laps was just intense. We got behind. I didn't know if I should go with Junior on the restart. Robbie had a flat tire. I just kept digging. I seen Jason try to run to the top to block the move. And my car just turned good. It really did. And I'm so incredibly happy. I mean, there's so many people that doubted my ability. I really, you know, and this is for all the people that doubted it. But I want to thank Geico. You can save 15% on your car insurance, sport clips. You can get some haircuts, precision gear, everybody at Biaggi Brothers. I can go on and on. And I'm going to go on and on. This is my little boy, Matt. But, Matt, this is a big night for us. I mean, it's huge. It's Daytona, and there's nothing better than this place.
We've got some good news. Mike Wallace back in victory lane at Daytona.
Yeah!
To Dick.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fired from victory lane, sits on pit road with the right side of the car bashed in. Victory was in sight. What happened?
Well, we were the 00 spun Michael out off of 2, and we got a run on him, and we went up to the high side, and he fenced us and him both. But it's makes you mad, you know. Have you ever been so mad you didn't care whether you lost the fight or not? That's kind of how mad I was, but, you know, just disappointing. We had a good finish. I didn't want to wreck my car, but, you know, you go for the win, and you take that chance. Real happy for Mike. Great to see him and that team win. They needed a win, and just upset that we're wrecked out of the race. Guy was running, Leffler was just running too crazy there at the end. You know, I mean, I know he really wants to win real bad, but he's got to do it without making a lot of enemies first. You know, it comes back to haunt you one of these days, and it always does.